The smallest primate in the world, the Tarsier. Imagine being able to turn your head a full 180 degrees like an owl, have your eyes be bigger than your brain, all while being the size of a thumb. This is the reality for the Tarsier. The Tarsier is one of the smallest primates in the world and extremely rare to find. First off, the Tarsier is known for many things, but one of the most superficial attributes it is known for is its minuscule size. Tarsiers only measure 4 to 6 inches, 10 to 15 centimeters in length from head to toe. In addition to their body, they also have a tail. Their tail is generally twice as long as their entire body, measuring around 9.8 inches, 25 centimeters from base to tip. But one of the most popular features of this animal are its eyes. Its eyes measure around 0.6 inches, 16 millimeters, which is humongous in contrast to its entire body, making up 10% of said body. That would be like having a 7-inch pair of eyes on an average human. Now, when it comes to location, the Tarsier is only located in the islands of Southeast Asia, specifically the islands of the Philippines, Indonesia, and Malaysia. Most species of Tarsiers tend to prefer the lowland forests, though the pygmy Tarsier, which is the smallest species of Tarsier, prefers very high mountainous forests. Regardless, Tarsiers spend most of their day clinging onto low-hanging tree branches. They prefer to reside 3 to 6 feet off the ground in dense and dark areas rich in vegetation where they can hide from predators while also hunting plentiful prey. Because Tarsiers are nocturnal, they're active during nighttime and rest during the day, meaning they need to find lush vegetation in order to hide successfully when they're asleep when the sun is out. They can be found in both old-growth and secondary forests, as well as in low, scrubby vegetation. Reproduction in Tarsiers varies depending on the species. While in most species, breeding occurs year-round, the eastern Tarsier, also known as the spectral Tarsier, has 2 specific breeding seasons, one between April and May, and the other between October and November. Female Tarsiers only give birth to a single baby after a gestation period of 6 months. Newly born Tarsiers are already well formed, being able to climb on leaves and branches within a day of their birth. Baby Tarsiers are born with a full coat of fur to protect them from temperature changes and the sun, as well as opened eyes to allow them to be spatially aware of their surroundings. Baby Tarsiers suckle on their mother for about 2 months. Then they start to feed on insects and other small critters, with some even being able to hunt independently as early as their 1st month. Some species of Tarsiers prefer living in groups and in families, while other species, like the Philippine Tarsier and the Western Tarsier, tend to live and hunt alone. Regardless of species, Tarsiers reach sexual maturity nearing the end of their 2nd year. If you enjoy our videos, consider subscribing and become part of the pack, or join the channel as a member and support the future creation of videos. Thank you. Despite their small size, Tarsiers are the only entirely carnivorous primates on the planet. Tarsiers mainly feed on small insects, such as grasshoppers, locusts, and crickets, as well as other small critters like frogs, lizards, and even snakes and birds. Tarsiers have extendable limbs that they use to propel themselves to launch more than 40 times their height at fast speeds. To hunt, Tarsiers push their tails against the branch or the trunk of the plant and use this to jumpstart their momentum when jumping. Their disc-like adhesive pads allow them to land safely on most surfaces, ensuring a safe landing. They've also been known to catch prey mid-air as well. Old texts and regional lore say that Tarsiers also eat charcoal. This has been proven false, as it has been discovered that Tarsiers rummage through charcoal to reach small critters instead, but do not eat the charcoal itself. Because Tarsiers are both rare and elusive, there is little to no natural setup where humans and Tarsiers interact in a great capacity. However, Tarsiers are illegally kept as exotic pets in Southeast Asia, and the rest of the world as well. Tarsiers do not do very well in captivity. Because they're so sensitive to environmental factors such as light and sound, keeping them as pets often only leads to stress and death. In fact, tarsiers have been discovered to be emotional animals, especially in response to stress. While in the wild, a tarsier can live up to 15 years, it is reported that most tarsiers die within 2 years when taken into captivity, and this is when they're provided with the best facilities and equipment. Tarsiers that are kept as pets by regular people often die within a few months of acquisition. When they're traumatized under captivity, tarsiers have been documented banging their heads against the iron bars of their cages, effectively breaking their thin skull caps and leading to their death. In fact, many wildlife organizations have had so much trouble keeping tarsiers in captivity that they have redirected their efforts to rehabilitating the tarsiers' natural habitats. Unfortunately, due to their exotic nature, people continue to trade them illegally. While they are native to Southeast Asia, tarsiers have become popular in the pet industry all the way to Mexico. All tarsier species are listed as vulnerable to extinction or endangered under the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN. One species, the Siau Island tarsier in Indonesia, is regarded as critically endangered and is therefore listed under the Totally Protected Animals, TPA, of Sarawak. Tarsiers suffer from low populations mostly due to deforestation due to logging, forest clearing and urbanization, where their natural habitat is greatly affected. Throughout the years, tarsiers have never successfully bred in captivity, mostly due to their sensitivity to the environment and their special feeding requirements. Because of this, efforts have shifted from keeping and breeding tarsiers in captivity to restoring their natural habitats instead. In the Philippines, the Tarsier Research and Development Center was built by the Philippines Tarsier Foundation, PTFI, to allow people to view tarsiers in a natural sanctuary, where the money earned went towards research and rehabilitation of tarsiers' habitats. Efforts in studying the breeding habitats of these animals have also been launched before. Research conducted by the Subayon Conservation Center for the Philippine Tarsier in Bilar, Bohol, Philippines, observed the breeding activities of the female and male Tarsius cyricta in hopes of better understanding the breeding requirements and factors of tarsiers to eventually breed them in captivity. For 2 years, the study observed where the tarsiers went during their active and non-active hours to replicate a suitable housing environment for tarsiers in captivity. Another program undertaken by the Philippines is launching an educational movement towards locals about the importance of the Philippine tarsier in Mount Matutum near Tupi in South Cotabato on the island of Mindanao. The Tupi civil government, the charity Tarsier UK, and the charity Endangered Species International, ESI, all banded together to make strides in educating the children about tarsiers, while also looking into building a visitor centre on the slopes of Mount Matutum to help fund the movement. Previously cleared lots of land that were used for tree and coconut harvesting were reclaimed and planted with native, tarsier-friendly trees to widen the habitat of tarsiers in hopes of boosting their breeding and population. The tarsier is a delicate animal, both in terms of size and temperament, which makes it one of the most unique animals to currently grace the planet. Unfortunately, because of human activities, tarsier populations have been struggling across Southeast Asia, despite actions from several organizations and charities leading movements to help. With the vulnerable and critically endangered labels tagged on tarsiers, let's support these organizations in revitalizing tarsier populations in their natural habitats. If you enjoyed this video, consider diving into other wonders of nature with us. Check out our other videos and subscribe to our channel as we explore wildlife from around the globe.